Hey everybody, in this video we're going to be comparing the LeoVince X3 EVO with the stock factory Suzuki exhaust. I'm also going to be doing a review on it after I ride the bike for a little while. I am noticing now that I'm holding it, always little fingerprints on it. It is like regular stainless steel, so something to be noteful of. Yeah. But alright, so I also got my decibel meter here, so we'll compare the stock exhaust sound to the LeoVince. Start it up. The bike's already warmed up. Stock idle sound. The stock rev. Now, something to note: this bike is completely stock. This is the first modification on it. Doesn't have any airbox mods or carb mods or anything like that, so it's just a straight comparison of the exhaust. Alright, so part of this we're going to be weighing the stock exhaust versus the LeoVince exhaust. Got a feeling it's going to be a lot lighter, so we should get a good amount of weight reduction on the DR. So we know it's a heavy bike, so part of this will be weight reduction mod is going to be one of the biggest parts of this. So I'm going to put the can on. We got about 6.7 pounds. Here's all the hardware we're going to be installing, and then also the mid pipe. Get that to balance on there. There we go. So just about 8.4 pounds. Sorry, it's a digital scale, so it's flashing the LEDs, but about 8.5 pounds, we'll just say, round up. Then we'll see how much the stock exhaust weighs once we take it off. Alright, tools we're going to use to replace this exhaust. I have a just 1/4 inch socket, a 6mm Allen, a 4mm Allen to take off the little heat shield here, the 6 for these right here, a screwdriver to take off the side panel, and I got the impact driver. I mean, you don't really need it, but if you want to go a little bit faster, just be careful not to over torque anything or anything like that. Alright, we're going to start by removing this side cover here. Now the instructions say to take the seat off, but I don't see any reason why you would want to take the seat off. So I'm just going to remove the side panel. You got to be careful here. When you take the screw out, there is a little washer that goes on the back inside the side panel. Just get those together. Try not to drop it because it might roll away and you may not be able to find it. Set that over here. And this should kind of just come out like that. Alright. Now we got the side cover off. Just going to take off this little heat shield on the side here. It does have a little Loctite in there, so just be careful with it. Alright, so basically we have our exhaust mounted up by these 3 bolts here. So you got this one here, this one here, this one here, then also the clamp here. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen the clamp up. Now we're moving to our 6mm. Now this bike is newer, so everything might come apart a little bit easier on this than some bikes that have been out in the dirt for a while. Alright, I'm gonna hold it. This is the last bolt. That out of there. Let's see, I'm just going to try to wiggle it out from the stock exhaust. Now let me tell you, this versus this thing is freaking heavy. I mean, this thing's a monster. So I mean, we're going to be losing a lot of weight here. I'll measure it here in a second, or weigh it really quickly in a second. But yeah, this thing is a It's atrocious. It's ridiculous. So yeah, this one we're gonna have so much weight reduction here. All right, so weighing the stock exhaust, we're at about 17.4 pounds. So a good amount of weight reduction there. I'm pretty stoked to get some weight reduction on this. I'm gonna start with the kind of standard 366 and kind of just kind of write it off from there. You know, obviously not gonna be able to weigh the whole bike. I don't have a scale that could do that, so I'm just gonna start doing that with all these mods we do. You know, later removing some stuff, but right now it's completely stock. So this will be the first weight reduction mod. Shouldn't really be getting too much of a performance gain, I don't expect, from this. You know, I mean, most of the system is kind of stopped up in the air box as far as ventilation goes. So yeah. All right, we're gonna start here by installing the mid pipe. It comes with like a little speed nut to put on here. So we're gonna put it on as per the instructions of the manual. Kind of says from this side. Push that all the way on there. See, that's actually not gonna work. So the instructions say to push it on from this side, but I'm seeing it's not gonna go far enough to cover the hole. But I know this is a little more space over here, so I'm gonna move it, switch it to the other side. Give me a minute. Alright, so I got it off of there. It says more space here than there is on this side, so I'm going to put it back on from the other side because it just wasn't going on far enough when I had it pushed all the way down. That is far enough, so I'll kind of center that. Got that centered there. And then I'm just going to kind of loosely install everything right now. So I'm not going to tighten anything down all the way, but kind of like IKEA furniture or anything. Kind of loosely install everything first, and then you can tighten it down. Get that pipe wiggled all the way in there, about lined up there with my hole there. It does come with new hardware here. We're going to reuse the old the stock rubber right here. There we go, thread it right in. So everything loose right now, leaving it loose right there. Alright, so installing the can. It's got this, came with this carbon fiber strap. Pretty cool, real carbon fiber here too. Looks to be good quality. It did come with this little spacer to kind of fit inside here. I'm going to put it in this way. It doesn't say which way to put it in, but I'm going to put it in so the fatter side is on the back here. The reason for that being, this is the nut we're going to be putting on with this spacer has a fatter side on the front, so I mean that will cover that side, and then it has a smaller spacer in the back. So we're going to do it like that. Didn't really say in the instructions, but I feel like that way just makes the most sense to me. I'll start by kind of just sliding this in over the mid pipe, and then again everything is going to be loosely installed here, but I'm going to start with this kind of spacer that goes in here, and we'll take the longer 6mm with this spacer right here goes on the outside, and then this spacer goes on the inside here. Once again, leaving everything loose and by hand. Let me grab my 6mm to make it a little easier here. Now over stock, I mean that does just look good compared to the stock one. That stock one had that like ridiculous section right here. It's a good looking exhaust. So I'm happy with it so far. Everything seems to be fitting together very nicely so far. I got everything's clearing over here, so no clearance issues. Everything's gone very smoothly so far. Next we're going to put the spring on right here. Then I'll go through and just tighten everything up. But super simple installation, really easy mod to do. Make sure the can is all the way in there. Wiggle it a little more. Seems to be down as far as it goes. This is all loose, so I can kind of adjust it and move it. Alright, I'm going to put the spring on, and then we'll tighten everything down. Alright, I'm about to put the spring on. Put the spring on first, then I'll come back through and tighten everything up. One thing to note here, see how the exhaust is sitting kind of sideways here? Before you put the spring on, just kind of straighten it out. Make sure it'll kind of tilt here. Sorry, I'm holding my camera, so tilt it till it's looking good and straightened out there. That looks pretty good right there. Then I'll put the spring on and tighten everything up. Alright, so LeoVince provides you with this little spring here. It's got a rubber cover on it here, so if it rattles against anything or anything, it shouldn't make any crazy rattling. So I'm going to install it like so. And they did also provide me with the spring tool, so that's also nice as well. I mean, otherwise you can get something else on there, but this should be nice. So pull it on there. Takes a decent amount of force here, so we'll pull, and there. That's it. Alright, so we got the spring on. Exhaust is on there straight. I'm going to come back through and tighten everything up. Alright, coming back through and tightening everything. I'm just going to tighten everything with a 1/4 inch ratchet. I mean, nothing needs to be torqued down like, you know, super tight or anything. And I also don't want to hit it with the impact and, you know, accidentally damage any of the carbon fiber or anything like that. I'm going to start from the top up here. Make sure it kind of lined up with your washer, because you don't want your washer to crack the carbon fiber if it's not in the center. So let me kind of show you what I'm talking about. So there's the one washer that goes through the center. It's got like almost like a spacer in there, so you want to make sure that's lined up. So we're lined up in the center, and then you can kind of cinch it down till it closes together. And tight, but not too tight, you know. There we go. Good there. Place this back down. Alright, moving on to the next bolt. Another 6mm Allen. Good and tight. So now we got, you know, everything bolted down there. I do the clamp last. I kind of always do the clamp last on any kind of exhaust systems I'm doing. That way it can kind of rotate in there as you're tightening these two down. These are more fixed, and this one is still can rotate while you bring it together. So back to the clamp. The clamp is not provided with the new exhaust, just so you know. So you'll be reusing your old clamp. So nice, good and tight right there. Alright. And that's basically it. We're going to put our side cover on here, make sure everything looks good there, and then we'll start it up. Alright, before I put the side cover back on, I just kind of want to go over the exhaust really quickly. Just noting it's got some really nice looking welds in here. They look good from the inside too. This is the in the mid pipe here, and the mid pipe kind of starts smaller and expands up. Fit is nice and tight coming into the can here, and everything fit like really well. So got this carbon fiber strap right here that fit really well. So everything fit and finish worked out perfectly. I had really no issues there. I'm gonna put that side cover on now, make sure we got no clearance issues there. But I think it's gonna be all good. So I mean, so far so good. Before putting the side cover back on, I'm gonna put this little heat shield back on. I mean, technically, if we left it off, we could save a little bit of weight, but I just don't think it looks great right there without it. And it'll help keep you from burning your legs, you know. 4mm Allen there. Come back through by hand, make sure it feels alright. And then we'll put the side cover back on. So as far as this goes back on, you just gotta click it back over this little spot here, back in there. Get your bolt hole lined up there, and then you have a little there's a little metal washer that goes inside there. I'm gonna put it in there by hand, put the screw through, and I dropped it. Alright, I got it. Gotta be careful because these things can kind of just roll away, you know, if you lose them. So, got there. Line back up with your bolt hole there. And it's got a Phillips number 2. Sure everything kind of looks nicely there, and tighten it down. The point of the washer being there gives a little bit of movement, and you know, you won't crush the plastic there when you tighten that down. I'm gonna check the fit and finish here, and it looks great. I mean, there's like a bunch of space there now. Before I had these little it's got these pieces of rubber in here, right here, to kind of that would hit the stock exhaust. Now it's just a big open space inside there, so you got plenty of room there. It is a lot smaller than that big old exhaust that was on there before, but it looks good. Alright, so we're just warming the bike up now, not doing any revs, but I can already tell it's got a deeper sound to it. Sounds better already. Less like a lawnmower, you know. Alright, so we got the exhaust all installed. Bike is already warmed up. I'm going to do the same kind of decibel meter test on it, but I can already tell it sounds like a little bit deeper. A lot better too when revved. There's just the idle. It really sounds good when revved. So overall, I'm happy with it. I still got to ride the bike. Some smoking and stuff is normal on a new exhaust, so you know, just burning off any of the oils that are in there. But I still got to ride it to see how it feels. But so far, it sounds great. It looks great too. Final thoughts, I really like the exhaust. Sounds really good. I've had it for about like a couple months now. Just even in these like salty sandy conditions, you know, no rust or anything on it. So it's all good compared to my front pipe is already starting to rust up just from camping here over the weekend. But overall, I really like it. There's one thing, like, be careful when you do clean it. The carbon fiber does have like almost splinters a little bit, like on the inside here, you can see. And that will kind of like stick in your fingers if you wipe it off. So I did get a carbon fiber splinter there. So that's my only complaint really, but otherwise it's great. Really like the exhaust, and I'd recommend it.